few weeks ago, the Saturday before Palm Sunday, in fact, several of my classmates organized a trip to Muir Beach. We consciously set aside all our thoughts of homework and the looming busyness of Holy Week. Instead, we packed bags full of hot dogs, pasta salads, and ingredients for s'mores and hit the road. Our moods collectively lifting as we started jamming to our beach day playlist. We spent a glorious afternoon soaking in the sun, wading into the very chilly Pacific, and scrambling across rocky terrain in search of adventure and mussels. We built a fire, cooked our hot dogs, realized that we had forgotten forks for the pasta salad. We drank cider and sang praise and worship songs and teased each other about our marshmallow roasting techniques. When night fell, we ran laughing into the ocean one last time and said a lot of very silly things about baptism. I came home, took a shower, and went to bed, still feeling sand between my toes and smelling the bonfire in my hair. I read today's gospel, this story of Jesus sharing a seaside cookout with the disciples, and I was immediately transported back to Muir Beach. However, I think this story truly resonated with me because that day at the beach felt like resurrection. Holy time spent in the company of dear friends who had seen me through some of the darkest days of the pandemic, the most challenging periods of my own spiritual life, and with whom I was finally able to celebrate how far we have come and how much good there is in store for each of us. Sometimes I think we can forget that the season of Easter lasts for a whole 50 days. This year especially, Easter Sunday felt like such a high point, a moment of truly great and frankly overwhelming celebration after 2 long years when all our words and stories about resurrection and new life felt somewhat muted by the constraining circumstances of our COVID reality. And believe me, I do know that this pandemic is not truly over and that not everyone is yet able to return to our more familiar rhythms of church and life. We remain fragile, finite humans, and our lives will always contain both laughter and grief, dancing and mourning. We will always find points of tension and pain within ourselves and our lives together that need to be acknowledged, held, and explored. This is probably one of the reasons why our church year is set up with different liturgical seasons, dedicated times to explore the different facets of what it means to be human and what it means to be Christian. And this is why it has felt so powerful to finally fully celebrate Easter, to see the paschal candle lit, to shout our Alleluias together. These 50 days of Easter, the season that we have set aside to boldly proclaim a space for joy and life in the midst of a world that can feel so full of uncertainty and sorrow. We need this season to remind us that hope is an essential component of our vocation as Christians. Today's readings tell us that we can hold fast to this hope because resurrection is not a one-time event. In fact, John's gospel has 2 whole chapters about what happens after Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb and finds it empty. When Jesus calls out to the disciples from the seashore, it is the 3rd time he appears to them following his resurrection. The earliest Christian communities were literally fed and nurtured by tangible encounters with the risen Christ. We see a similar situation in our reading from Acts. Saul is transformed through direct contact with Jesus, claiming a new identity and purpose after his radical experience. As the account of Paul's conversion shows, interaction with a post-resurrection Jesus can be totally unexpected, utterly disorienting, and lead to an entirely new understanding of how we are to live our lives. Christian history is full of saints and martyrs and missionaries who turned their lives upside down and inside out because of close personal encounters with Jesus. Some of you, no doubt, have experienced similarly intimate connections with Christ over the course of your own faith journeys and been deeply changed as a result. Now, I am going to confess that I am one of those people who has not experienced a road to Damascus moment. While I love that my faith has been built, sustained, and refined through consistent participation in the ordinary routines and rituals of religious life, I often joke that I have the least exciting spiritual autobiography out of any of my seminary classmates. But even people like me can see the reality of resurrection present in and through Christian community. Christ's body gathered here in this place and at this time. And so because this is the last time that I am privileged to preach as your seminarian, I am going to beg your indulgence and explore just a few of the places where I have experienced resurrection here at St. James over the past 2 years. My second year of seminary, my first year with all of you, was very lonely. I missed my family and friends, and I missed the community life I experienced during my first and only non-COVID semester of seminary. During this time, I found resurrection and hope in the ways that you all found, not only to stay connected to each other, but to welcome newcomers like me into St. James, even while we were only on Zoom. I appreciated every person who took the time to have a one-on-one meeting or phone call with me. I loved participating in the online parish retreat. I looked forward to our monthly Women's Circle meetings. It has now been a full year since we began to regather for in-person worship, and I was incredibly moved at those early celebrations of the Eucharist in Mountain Lake Park. I felt such joy meeting you all face to face for the first time. And I appreciate the worship that we continue to share every week all the more deeply for having walked through this pandemic together. As we have transitioned to more in-person activities, I continue to experience resurrection when I hear our wonderful choir sing every Sunday, when I see gorgeous flowers adorning the sanctuary, and when I note the care that everyone on St. James's Altar Guild puts into filling and cleaning those tiny little communion cups. I see signs of new life in our courtyard coffee hours and ongoing conversations about how we can welcome people into this space again and more intentionally reach out to our neighbors. I have been deeply grateful to bear witness as members of this parish seek and serve resurrection in their own lives and in our wider San Francisco community through participating in Sacred Ground, committing to Project Homeless Connect walks, conducting advocacy and organizing with Faith in Action, and building energy around Pastor Shari's Caring for Mother Earth initiative. And seeing how you have genuinely cared for and supported one another through all the significant challenges and persistent joys we have experienced in these 2 wild years has reminded me why I feel called to serve God's church and God's people. I am so grateful for all of the ways that you have prayed with me and prayed for me, and I will do my best to carry all the wisdom I have gained from you and the beautiful spirit of this St. James community with me into all of my future ministries. I know that you love Jesus. I know that you feed Christ's sheep. And I know that you are willing to follow where your Savior leads. My prayer for all of you is that in the weeks and months and years to come, you will see that God is always beginning and continuing the work of resurrection in this place with all of you. I pray you will know that as members of Christ's risen body, you have the power to transform lives. I know that you have transformed mine. Amen.